Alrighty guys, so day 3 today. It was a pretty solid day. Definitely feeling a little lower than the last few, just in my mood and my energy levels, a little bit. That could be both from just the change in diet and not eating meat. And then yesterday I fasted as well, so that could be part of it. I ate pretty good today. Like, I ate plenty of food and it was all really healthy. It's pretty low carb, so maybe I'm feeling that. And then also I'm taking all drugs, caffeine out as well, so that could be part of it. Like, I drink coffee constantly, so I imagine that's part of it as well. But yeah, just, a little lower in mood. Didn't sleep great last night either, and that's as to be expected when you're fasting. It does, unfortunately, affect your sleep. But I think it was around 4:40 in the morning, 4:30. I woke up, looked at my watch, and I was wide awake. I was like, damn. I almost just got up for the day, but I knew I needed a little more sleep. But yeah, for about an hour and a half, I was just wide awake lying there. And when I finally went back to sleep, I think I slept for probably 3 more hours. And I was just like dreaming constantly that whole time. And I think it's because anyone who smokes knows, like, it helps you fall asleep, but the sleep you're getting is very low quality. And that's one thing I've noticed is, like, when I do wake up, I'm up, like, I'm ready to go, where usually I'm hitting my snooze button who knows how many times. And like, I'm the guy who's like setting 3 alarms and just hoping that I don't like shut them off in my sleep. But without the grogginess that comes with going to bed completely high out of your mind, you wake up, just feeling great. So, but these dreams I had, and I want to make this less of an update video and just more something I've been thinking about for quite a bit lately, but just remind me of it this morning. So I had a dream about my dog who we had to put down back in May, and I had this dog my whole life, pretty much. I'm 22, he was, I think, 15 when we put him down, and, he was like, at times, he was my best friend, he was my brother, he was, it was just such a pleasure having him in my life throughout my childhood. And like a lot of people, when these things come up, these like just sort of traumatic, or maybe not traumatic, but just very difficult situations, when they come up, I am someone who tries to avoid thinking about those things quite a bit. When it comes to, like, issues that I have within myself, like my own kind of limitations, I can be pretty honest with myself. But when it comes to, like, more external factors, death being a big one, or, like, breakups, heartbreak, like, what else? I don't know. I tend to put these thoughts on the back burner and almost in hopes of never thinking about them. And I have a cousin who I love dearly who passed away, and I almost in my mind don't even acknowledge that he's gone. It's like like, when times where I would see him, like around Thanksgiving and things, like I think about it more, but I almost just pretend it never happened. And so this dream that I had with my dog Scout, we were driving, or I was driving and he's in the passenger seat, and we just got to, like, hang out, had the radio on, and it was a very great dream, because it was so vivid that I felt like I really was spending time with him. Even when I woke up, it was like I was really thankful to have gotten to share that moment with him. And again, like, two cousins that I've lost, both in terrible ways, and yeah, I just never allowed myself to think about it. But like in this dream, and in many different ways, whether you're meditating or just like something will happen that will trigger those thoughts, and the longer you put it off, like the harder they're gonna just come back into your mind, and there's really no use in trying to hide from it. So when I woke up, I spent probably 20 minutes just lying there thinking about Scout, going down memory lane, and it was yeah, I did a lot of healing even in just those 20 minutes. And so what I wanted to talk about was kind of like a recontextualization of death for me that happened when was it? It was like right after Thanksgiving. A coworker of mine and my brothers passed away. They were killed in a car accident. It was just terrible. And I think, neither me or my brother were terribly close with this person, and I think that at least gave me the opportunity to look at death in a way that I hadn't before, because like she was in my life actively. Like I saw her probably four days a week for the time she worked there, which was only a short time. But it was different because with all these other deaths that have been so difficult, I think they were so difficult that I had really never thought about them. Whereas with this one, like I really almost like, maybe this sounds almost like selfish or something, but it was like almost out of respect for this person, I wanted to think about it like as deeply as possible. I wanted to take this opportunity to build some perspective, I guess. And kind of the conclusion I made is like, and it just sucks. I wasn't mean to this person, but I was definitely kind of cold to her. She was, I think the only person I ever worked with who didn't get trained. They kind of just threw her in. I don't know why that was. If there were just time constraints, she wasn't able to go through a full training. But that just set her up for a difficult time there, at least initially. And it was, my job was just more difficult if she was there, because I kind of had to pick up, not the slack. It's not like she wasn't a good worker. She just didn't know what she was doing. But anyway, yeah, there would just be times where like that resentment would come to form, and just me kind of, not like aggressively or anything, but just kind of giving her the cold shoulder. Like we'd be like standing next to each other, and I could have taken the opportunity to make conversation with her. I love anyone who knows me. Like I never stop talking. It's just I'd say it's a flaw that I have, is like I can't shut up sometimes. So I think compared to the rest of my coworkers, she could feel that, and it created some distance between us. And so like when I found out that she had passed, like my first thought was all of the times like where I could have shared an experience with her, or just chit chat, would have been better than nothing, because her work ability didn't reflect who she was as a person. Like I could have taken the opportunity to really tune in to how she saw the world and just what her life was like, and I would have loved to taken the opportunity to do that, but I didn't, and I really am regretful of that. And what that made me think of is, in a few videos back, I talked about this guy who I disagree with so many of the choices he makes for himself, and I'm resentful of him as well. Like I I see how unmotivated he is, and it just bothers me. And I think it's because I see myself in him in some ways, not a lot of ways, but in some ways, I can relate to that discipline and motivation problem that a lot of us have. So with that being said, it's like the truth, remains the same. Like that has like how I view him, like the choices he makes shouldn't be reflected of like my view of him as a person. And what I realized, which I hadn't thought of before, is like I actually still love this guy and all of my coworkers, even the most difficult ones to work with. It's like I could think of them as weird or strange or whatever, or annoying or rude. I could call them all these things, but it never changes the fact that I want what's best for them, and I don't want them to have a terrible life or let alone die. Like I want what's best for them. Even these people who, like, sometimes I'll be so resentful that I'm telling myself that I hate these people, which just couldn't be further from reality. It's like these are people that I'm sharing like great deals of time with in my life, and I really value them. And it's hard for us to see that because we get so caught up in just these thought patterns, and we just look for someone to blame for whatever discomfort we're feeling. And yeah, so what's different about these coworkers and this girl who passed is these guys, it's these two people, but this main guy, like I'll use him, is he still has the chance to come out of this on top, and he could easily turn things around if something inspired him to. And like sometimes I think about like maybe just failure and like repeated failures are what propel us into success. It's like it's an unfolding process. Each failure you had like gets you closer to that. We learn from each experience, and as long as this guy is still alive, he has the opportunity to make a great life for himself. If you ask me, the odds are maybe not in his favor, but that's not for me to decide. It's like I don't get to just write him off as a person. He still has plenty to offer to this world, whether he's offering anything now or not. So, and not to get too crazy, but I think like the part of the meaning of life, I know, but part of the meaning of life is to build your understanding of this world and learn how to conduct yourself and like how to look at this, building like a perspective on this world that really makes you happy and that you can live with. And we're all just like learning and going through different trials, and we're progressing and trying to find happiness. And it's never really enough, and I think that's why I named this channel. I was really wanting to use the word insatiable, because that's how I've been feeling. It's like, no matter how far we go, how much we progress, it's never quite enough, because there's just like, I don't know what to call it. My teacher would call it like the supreme, like the divinity in the world that we come in touch with sometimes. Like we've all felt those moments where we've just really been alive, like living life to the fullest, and we get a little taste of what life's all about, and then the rest of, most of the time it's more like mundane, and we're kind of in the back of our mind like chasing that feeling or seeking out just this like higher happiness. that's just how I see it. And I'm like very content with that idea. Like I'm, even if I only get like a few tastes of this bliss and beauty that life has to offer, I would, you know, I'm satisfied with not being satisfied as long as I get to get some joy out of this. It sound I'm making it sound more like you know, dark or something, but it's that's not how I mean to come off. Yeah, so I I just I guess just to end this off, it's like what I learned is yeah, you can't just put these things off because they're gonna come back, and then another is like these these people we have in our lives that cause us confusion or discomfort or whatever, like they are us. They're no different than us. They're just they had a different series of events shape who they are. But that's what we are. Like we're just these life forms going through experiences, learning and changing, and but at the end of the day, we're all in that pursuit of happiness, really. So, I love every person on this planet for that reason. Sorry, guys, got a hair in my mouth. Well, yeah, got a hair in my mouth. Let's just end it there, right? All right. And yeah, feeling pretty good here on day 3. Sorry if that was like a downer. Just kind of rambling. Probably went in circles. I'm really trying to get better. Like I want to tune these up, and I'm gonna start editing out like the ums and like just little moments where I lose my train of thought, rather than doing these all in one cut. So but again, I'm just doing this to kind of practice speaking to the camera, and I've been enjoying it, so I'll keep doing it. And if anyone cares to watch, feel free, and I appreciate it if you do. Thanks, guys.